The sound of laughter echoed in my ears as I stood outside the old family home, the air thick with a nostalgia that stung like a slap. The facade with its peeling paint and sagging roof seemed to mock me, just like they had done so many years ago. I could still hear their voices, mocking and unyielding. "You're going to disgrace us. You'll lose your mind over those ridiculous manuscripts." They thought my obsession with cursed texts had driven me mad. And perhaps at the time they were right. But here I was, years later, not the broken child they'd cast aside, but a figure cloaked in shadows and dark knowledge. I had traversed the depths of the uncanny, uncovering horrors most chose to ignore. Now, I was home to expose the truth. What they had scorned was now a part of their lives, whether they liked it or not. As I stepped through the creaking door, the familiar scent of musty wood and stale memories flooded my senses. The living room was cluttered with remnants of a life that once sheltered me, yet felt so alien. My parents were sitting at the dining table, and for a fleeting moment, I almost turned back. But I had come too far to falter now. "Look who finally decided to come home," my father sneered, his eyes narrowing. "Thought you'd be too busy chasing shadows to bother with us." I met his gaze, feeling the weight of my own accomplishments pressed down like lead. "I'm here to show you that shadows can bite back." They were silent, caught in the web of disbelief and disdain, and I could see my mother's discomfort as she exchanged glances with my father. It was time to let the past unravel, to reveal what I had learned, what they had ridiculed. I reached into my satchel and pulled out a manuscript, one lined with intricate, dark designs that seemed to pulsate in the light. "This," I said, voice steady, yet thick with the dread of unveiling, "is the work of a long-forgotten scribe who chronicled the cursed estates. His notes detail how the land itself can remember, how it can punish those who tread upon it without respect." "More nonsense," my father scoffed, but there was a tremor in his voice, a shiver that suggested doubt. Ignoring him, I continued, "You think I have lost my mind? I have witnessed horrors that would break your heart and haunt your dreams. I've survived encounters with things that shouldn't exist, yet they do. And now I carry their weight, their knowledge. You've laughed at me for too long." At that moment, the lights flickered, and a chilling draft swept through the room. The air thickened, almost electrified with something sinister, something that held an echo of the very manuscripts I had studied. My parents exchanged confused glances, the mockery in their eyes giving way to something akin to fear. "What was that?" my mother breathed, her voice cracking. "It's just the wind," my father barked, but I could see his bravado faltering, the flush of uncertainty creeping into his cheeks. I took a deep breath, channeling the darkness that had become my companion. "I've brought a few friends along," I said, my lips curling into a grim smile as I opened the manuscript, revealing pages filled with symbols that seemed to writhe and twist before their very eyes. "Stop it! Just stop!" My mother cried, and I could feel her fear pressing against me, suffocating yet familiar. But it was too late. The shadows that had been lurking in the corners of the room began to converge, dark tendrils stretching forth as if hungry for acknowledgement. They twisted and turned, taking on shapes that danced just beyond the periphery of reality. My father stood, his bravado crumbling. "What did you do?" "I gave you what you wanted," I said, reveling in the irony that had long festered within me. "You wanted proof that I was insane, that I had wasted my life. But now you see, the knowledge I sought was always real. You laughed at the darkness, and now it's come for you." I watched their faces pale as shadows coalesced, revealing grotesque forms, cursed remnants of those who had been careless with their knowledge. The room filled with whispers, a cacophony of wails and shouts. Stories of men who had fallen victim to their own hubris, now twisted into nightmarish echoes. "Please, we believed you were sick." My mother fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face as she clawed at the floor, desperation breaking through her usual stoic demeanor. "There's a reason to fear the unknown," I said, my voice both a whisper and a roar. "What you mocked was a warning. What you dismissed was."